Well, the birds are chirping really well here in Felixstowe, and I'm here to sort out yet another crash damage job. And this one has taken a hell of a whack. 9-inch wall with squints, copings on the top. Obviously there must have been a support here to hold this roof up because we've got acros all set up around here. So it looks like this one's got to come down right the way to the wall. Yeah, it's all gone all the way up here, completely broken, and the other side as well. I'm thinking we'll be able to keep these copings. We've got those two, and we've got this one here, so we should be able to sort this out. So hopefully I'm going to be able to save these squinted bricks because I'm not going to be able to get hold of them very easily. So my plan is now to get all my tools out, get over there and get it all taken down. I'm going to use my trusty Titan to break this all apart because it's going to be the easiest tool to get it all taken down for sure. So I was straight in with my small breaker, took off the copings first, give them a little clean up, and then it was time to attack the actual wall itself. As soon as I lifted the first one, the squints actually started snapping. So I'm going to have to do something pretty special to make up the new ones. It was a decent run to the skip, but before I knew it, I had the whole thing cleared and we were ready to sort out the job. Right, it's time to go to my favourite. This time we're going to the Felixstowe branch of Travis Perkins. Let's get down there and go and get some material. The sun is shining nice today, and I'll tell you what, it's not that far, this one. It's literally like a mile away from where I am on the job, which is well handy. The old sat nav is telling me it's down here, just down here on the left, which is handy because there's some traffic lights set up there. Oh, here we go. Happy days. Travis Perkins, come on. And there's bricks here too. Jackpot. The question is, have they got the ones I need? Doesn't look good at the moment. Looks like they're all engineering's. Gonna have to go inside and have a little chat with them in here. See if they've got any here, but it doesn't look like they've got them here. Might have to go to another branch. But it was okay because hidden behind a crate there was some. Absolutely spot on. The lads had everything I needed. So we're rocking and rolling. Now to get back to the site, get these unloaded, and then we can start thinking about doing some building. There we have it, all loaded up now, all the bricks there, nice. And we've got our sand and everything over the back. Whew. It's a really hot day today, you know. Gonna have to get myself some Lucozade, I think. Have I got any with me? The stuff that keeps Tricky going. Go on the Luco. Right, so we're all set up now, ready to go. I'm gonna be now setting out my first course around here so I can work out the sizes for these squint bricks around here. And for the ones, there's obviously some here and there's obviously some there as well. So I'll get the first course down, make my measurements, mark my bricks, get them cut, and then we can get on with laying. But before I do that, I've got to knock up a mix to stick this lot together. And today I'm using the trusty paddle mixer. And I also have a brand new trowel. My last one had a big chunk in it here where I've been hitting the flintstones with it, what I shouldn't really have been doing. But it took a big chunk out of it, so I treated myself to a 1910 Marshaltown. I find the 1910 the best trowel. Most people go for the 11, but I think the 10's a better trowel. It's better on the wrist, lighter on the wrist. So for longevity, if you're in this game for a long time, you don't want to be having a trowel that's longer. I mean, some people even have a 12, but a 10's better, I find, so it's less pressure on your wrist and you can keep your speed up. So it was time for a mix. In with the sand, in with some white dust, a little bit of water, and give it a spin with the old paddle mixer. Added a little bit more water to it just to wetten it up, and another quick turn and she was ready. So now I've got my mix done. I need to work this bond out so that we're absolutely perfect on the corners. So I want to get the brick like this. I'm going to cut this one and then put another brick in there, but it'll only be a half this time because I want it to bond correctly. So we go full brick from this corner, lay them this way like so. So then we start with a 3/4 brick here the idea is I'm going to cut this brick here and then put a half brick on here, and then we'll be half bond again going that way. So I'll do that now, and then I can show you how the bond's going to go right the way around to the end. To break my bricks I use a Brasco 4-inch bolster and just a £2 lump hammer. You can normally get a half by putting your bolster on like this, and that length is the half of the brick. So there we go, there's our half. Nice. Right, so our brick will go like this. We've got to cut one here, then I'm going to put this one here, and then what I'm going to do to this end I'll show you a little bit later, but obviously there's going to be some muck in here, but I want it to remain the same colour, so I've got a little trick how to make these look seamless around here. We've got a drip coming down on there as well, which isn't ideal, but we'll get over the drip. So that's our bond there. Then the next one will be the complete opposite to that. We'll almost work up a straight joint through this part here. So that's why I'm going to be putting in these metal wall ties across every single course through there, and that'll keep that nice and strong. I do that on both sides on all of the squints. I've got a few packs of these, so we've got plenty to keep it strong. The bond will continue along here now till we get to the end. Now I think this one will be another squint here. We'll put that one on there like so. We'll do our piece like that then. So we're going to make this one here. We'll cut this one straight down the line there, and then we'll get our brick on this way, and then we'll see what the bond above it looks like. But I think that's the way to do it. So there we go, that's our bond through that part there. Now I know you're thinking, oh, it's straight joints there, Tricky. Well, I haven't been able to get these squints, so I can't do anything other than have a straight joint up at this part here. But the next one will be coming across like this, with the cut there and then the half on here, and that'll keep us bonded then. And I'm going to do something with this gap, like I said, which is going to be really cool, so you'll have to keep an eye on that to near the end of the video. So let's get our first brick down now. We're going to put some muck on the wall, spread it out on the wall, on the ground, spread it out. Started with a 3/4, this is a 160 3/4. I don't like to go any smaller than 160 really. So we'll get this one in. I'm looking to keep gauge to the course on the actual building here. That'll keep us the right height. So we'll get our first one on. Then we should be back to full brick for a few. I can move these out of the way while I do this. Put a nice groove in it. If you notice, the colour of the muck is really close to what we've got here on the wall, so that's a good thing. Push it in, tap it to place and scrape off that bit of surplus. This trowel's going to take a little while to bed in because the edges are really sharp at the moment, but after I scrape it down a few bricks for a few days, that'll home in lovely. So now I've got these first few on here, I can get my level, put it across the top, and as you can see I'm pretty much level there already, but I'm just going to give it a little tap because this one feels a little bit out here. Yeah, that's nice and level through there. So I'll scrape my surplus off, we can put that back in the tub for now, because I try not to waste any muck. Then I'm just going to range this first one along, make sure they're all flat faced to the level right the way through. Then we know our line is nice and straight and the wall should continue up that way. Just make sure that's there again once I've moved them a little bit. Nice, that's looking good. Now to start working on the squinted corner. Now when leveling this way, it's going to be hard now because to level this brick I'm going to go down to there. So what I try and do is I do it on this good edge here, and then you know the brick's going to stay the same level, it's going to be perfect. So I'll put some muck down on the wall again. Perp up this brick. Push this one in. Tap it into place. Scrape off that bit of surplus, because that's going to be in the way of our level. Now I'm looking to make sure it's flat along this front edge here, because as I say, if I try and level that now, that's just going to disappear into that part and the brick's going to kink. So I'll go on that edge there. That just needs a tiny little tap. I use my big level, and that's absolutely spot on. Now, because these are all straight, all I've got to do is align it to them, and that should be good as well. There we go, that's up to that point. Now to work this direction. I'm going to start with my half this time. We'll take this one up. Now I'm going to push this in to place. There we go, that's that one. Now I'll lay this brick as well. I'll lay a couple along here now. Push this one in, then the next one. Nice, we've got a few bricks there now to get our level across. So I'll be going from this corner now to this end here. Looking at that, this needs to go down, so we can push this down. And it's saying this end one's very slightly low, so we're going to take that up. I'm just going to pop a bit more muck underneath them to get it absolutely correct. So now we can see we're touching right the way through there and we're absolutely level. So that's exactly what we want. So I continued now with the same method, working my way along the line and going around the last squinted corner. This way the wall was looking absolutely right and I knew it was all level and true. I've actually changed my mind how I'm going to bond this first course like this, because the second one wants to be sat there now and half bonded to this one. So I can put a full brick in here and just take the corner off of this one here, like that, and then I've got my slight tiny return which I need for that part. I think that's the way to do it. So we're going to go with that. That's going to be our, yeah, that's going to be her there. So I'm going to cut this one down here now, and that should work nicely for the return. There we go, he sits in there, and then this one will sit here. Then if I'm right, the next brick will be going across like that, and then I put my half on there. So that one will be the same cut again, but through there, and then we can put our half on there, and then we'll be half bonded again. That's what we want. So now I'd worked out where my squints were going. It was time to start running the rest of these round and getting the first course completely set out right away along the wall, so I knew exactly where I was supposed to be. And after that it should be plain sailing. And I got up to the other internal corner, did exactly the same, put a cut in, then a half, and I was exactly back to bond like I was the other side, all lining through exactly correct. So there's course number one down. Now we're going to reverse the bond and do exactly the same over the top. Putting the ties in where the squints are to keep it nice and strong. There's our bond reversed, and I'm going to be working the same method on every corner now. Get that reverse. I'm going to leave that straight joint there because I'm going to do something special with that a little bit later. So I'm going to crack on now, get some of the straight work in and just chase it round and get this wall built. And it won't be long before we're at the top. So I've got my rack up now this end, that way I can chase it all round this corner now. We're right up to where the squints are and stuff, but it's nice to get a big chunk in there so I haven't got to keep on working doing them 3/4 up this side. So all the 3/4 up there are now done. This time I can work it around here and do my squint ones on this one, and then finally once I've got this rack down here, then I can do my cuts here. Otherwise you're going along and it's cut. So I like to do section at a time. So that's a big section of it up. Now it's time for a bit more Lucozade. Being a bricklayer is one of the most enjoyable things I ever chose to do with my life. There's a lot of jobs I could have done. I'm quite a talented guy, but doing brickwork really does make me happy. I get left alone to do my job and I get to create different walls every single day of the week. Everyone's a different challenge. I'm meeting new people as I go along the way, and it's just really nice job to get on with. When I was on site I used to find it boring because you're just a number, but when you're doing stuff by yourself as a solo man, it's so nice. You don't have to put up with attitude from other people. You just get on with your work and you have a really nice time doing it. So after getting that big chunk in, it was time to do some jointing up. Always do your heads first or your perps right away along, and after that come along and do all of your bed joints. Once you've done all of that, give it a good brush off, and that's your wall pretty much complete. Other than on this case, we need to put a few copings on. Now I want to disguise these joints, these straight joints on the corners here. So I'm filling them up nice and flush with the muck now from top to bottom. Then once they're all full and nice and flush, I'll give them a little rough finish on them to give them the same textured front as the brick faces. Then we cover them in brick dust. I use my grinder to spray the dust onto the wet muck, and then it sticks to it. It gives an effect to the eye that there isn't even a joint there. It's a really handy tip to know if you have to make your own squints. Once you finish spraying, you then go along with your trowel, rake out the joints, and then repoint it all once again. And then you have the finished article. I think it doesn't look bad at all. And considering I couldn't get the squinted bricks, this is probably the best thing I could possibly have done. So there we go, look. Tricky's trick. Doesn't look like there's a joint up there at all, you know what I mean? Look like perfect squints. Homemade by the Tricky Bricky. Haha. Now there's a tip half of you didn't know. Well, we're starting to get round the corner now nicely. Got a big chunk of that wall in now. Starting to look good, really starting to take shape. The hop up's been well handy as well. Saved me bending over. My poor back. Oh, I'm an old man. I'll be in one of these homes soon. Right, now to just run in this last little internal corner here. We've got ties running through every course now on this internal bit. So we're going to get this all up to level now. All up so it's all filled in there, and then we can put the copings back on. There we have it, we're all built now. It is absolutely nailing down. Ugh, what a horrible way to end the job. But we've got the copings to put on now. I've had to put a bag over this because we've got a drip going on, which is not ideal. But what can I do? Push on, get these copings on, cover it over, and that's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Well, that's all I can do. Well, the weather is absolutely killing me, but I've ducked out of it for a minute. I'm absolutely soaked down my arm. The guttering, right? The water's coming off the roof onto the guttering and straight on to the job. It's absolute nightmare, but I've managed to get the copings on, and I've pointed them and I've covered it all up. I'm just ducked out of it while hopefully it goes off a bit. Will it go off in time? Oh, I hope so. I mean, have a look. None of this timber is dripping anywhere except for right on this corner. Ugh. Pain in the arse. Well, I've tried my absolute hardest, guys and girls. I can't do any more in this weather. I'm going to have to come back. It's a bit of a bombshell. Got a big run down this side here. Everything else is sorted. It's all on. But I mean, that wet there, I can't do anything about it. Look how it's pouring down there, directly down onto the work. So, on that bombshell, I'm getting out of here. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one where we will hopefully get this sorted and another job or two. Peace out and pow! I've been laying bricks because I'm feeling kind of horny. Message chicks for titty pics, but they all seem to ignore me.